Iowa, Governor Kim Reynolds, Senator Joni Ernst, and the Grassley family. Let's dive deep. Since they all have a lot to say about blue states, let's look in their own backyard. Senator Joni Ernst, who recently said at a town hall, "We're all going to die," and then doubled and tripled down in a cemetery. Of course, what she was responding to is the massive cuts of Medicaid in this current budget, which she's in favor of, which is shocking because nearly half of the children in Iowa rely on Medicaid. Not to mention the 41% of households in Iowa that rely on SNAP benefits, which also are getting massively cut in this budget, that Joni Ernst is in favor of. Did you know that rumor on the street is that Senator Ernst and a general from the Air Force, who's also a lobbyist on the Hill, were having some rendezvous? Now, why this may be a little controversial is because, like I said, he's a lobbyist for the Air Force, and she's on the Armed Services Committee, which is in charge of the budget for the military. Governor Kim Reynolds, who once upon a time had 2 DUIs in 18 months. But don't go looking for it, because the mugshot ain't there. Nor is the record of the arrest magically gone. Governor Reynolds recently became one of a handful of governors who decided that they should tell people what food they should and shouldn't eat with their SNAP benefits. She states that it'll make people healthier and make healthier decisions if the sugary foods are taken off the table. Now, 38% of people in Iowa are obese, but experts in the field says this will do nothing to combat that. How about you focus more on job growth in Iowa? Because Iowa has a job growth of 0.4%, one of the lowest in the nation. The national average is 1.5%. And what about this veto recently over eminent domain, which favored the carbon capture pipeline company over the Iowa residents? Which Speaker of the House, Pat Grassley, yes, that same Grassley, Chuck Grassley's grandson, is trying to override in the House state legislature in Iowa. And since we're mentioning Pat Grassley, Nepo baby of Iowa, he recently took some big digs at food stamps entitlement. That's pretty fresh coming from Chuck Grassley's grandson, who has definitely benefited from having the last name Grassley in Iowa. Grassley, who has been in Congress since 1975. That's a lot of underhanded moves for one very small state.